I'm gonna make some dip here. I got some green onions. Already washed them up. I'm not gonna chop all of them, but I can't really tell. Let me try to get this thing sorted out a little bit. Can't tell if I'm really well in the shot or not due to the camera placement. Now, did you know you can plant these and they'll just grow more onions? Did you know that? If you want to make more onions, just keep making more onions. Here, I'm going to get my stream pulled up here. If you want to make more onions, just keep making more onions. Here, I'm going to get my stream pulled up. I'm not sure what's going on. Usually there's a commercial involved. Let's see. We got a fire extinguisher, rocking. Don't know if I need all that necessarily in the old... That's safety first, though. So it's going to be hard. My, what I would call a monitor is behind me. That's fine. Let's cut these onions up. This is just like a dip that I make. I think I make this on New Year's and Super Bowl weekend. I don't know why. It's just like, it's good. I could make it more often and it would definitely get eaten. But just for some reason, it's a Super Bowl New Year's tradition. This is just going to be a single, what you'd call it, a single batch. I usually go double batch, but you know, sometimes you just don't do a double batch. And green onions, you know, you don't have to cut the whole things up. It's up to you. I do that. You do what you do. Just because I gotta eat the groceries I got, kids. I gotta throw those onions away. We eat the whole thing. We eat the roots here. It keeps going like it's going. Yeah, I was just gonna make a regular YouTube video out of this, and I thought, oh, what the hell? We'll do a live extravaganza, just because I don't know. Some people can do live, some people can't do live. The power of the internet. So the way this thing goes, I'll be using one of these. That's the Corningware Retro. I gotta cut some stuff up, but basically the layer of operations is you put the cream cheese down, in case you ain't got a bunch of patience. You put some cream cheese down. You put a layer of Hormel no chili bean chili. Yep. You put a layer of diced green chilies. Yep. You put, I don't have the right cheese, but you know, you use the cheese you got. The correct cheese is a Monterey Jack, which is a white cheese that when melted does not hold its strength well. It's a very runny cheese when melted. Allows you to dip in without breaking the chip. I'm going to be using mozzarella because I have a giant bag of mozzarella. And then you top it with black olives if you're into that. And green onions. Some people say put the green onions after it's warmed. I just put them on there beforehand because it gets reheated anyways. So why all the mystery? All right, let's do the olives next. Any dust on there? Nope. And yeah, sliced olives are easier. But a long time ago, I bought some knives, so I'm just going to use my knives. I'm not going to slice them all up. We'll slice a few. The olives, I don't know. Olives do have a flavor to it. It's just more texture, I guess. And yeah, I do realize the irony of using a cutting board on a butcher block. But as you gain wisdom with years alive, you learn that some things are easier to deal with than others. These aren't very good olives. They're kind of crumbling. And cleaning up after with a movable cutting board is far easier than trying to clean a butcher block. And I know there's different philosophies on how much butcher block cleaning one should be doing in life, but this is my bamboo cutting board that I don't cut meat on. It's a vegetable only cutting board, if you will, for those non-meat items. My meat cutting boards, I use plastic, and I usually rotate them out every so often with new ones, and I'll be honest with you, I'm due. What I normally do is I go to IKEA and I buy, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 brand new plastic cutting boards, and I just have a bunch of plastic cutting boards. And that way when they get all sliced up and they start staining and looking gross, you just move on. But mine are to the point where they're getting stained and looking gross, so I need to maybe think about getting some new ones. I mean, whatever. What are you gonna do in life? So the slicing of the olives is part of the ritual. I'm doing a very good job of slicing these here olives. I'm trying to think what brand those were. Kind of sucky. I mean, they taste fine, but just they're not as, I don't know what the word is, stiff? It's a stiff olive. Is that a word to describe an olive? Or the olive's lack of stiffness? A lot of broken ones too. The nice thing about broken ones is you get to snack on them while you go, which is always fun. I guess the olives add salt. Is that what it does? It's always good. You gotta have salt to make your brain work. Don't ever forget that. No matter what they tell you, salt is required. Now, sometimes do a little paper towel action on some of the extra liquidy sections of the vegetable cutting. We're going to call that good for now. I don't think the dip requires extra liquid. I'm not sure if patting down the sliced olives with a paper towel is normal behavior, but we're going to go ahead and do that. If drying your olives is wrong, I don't want to be right. Close enough. Alright, well, just because it's a fancy cooking show, I saw this on TV. They put everything in little ramekins on television shows because I have no idea why. So that's what we're doing here. And yes, these are called ramekins, in case you didn't know that. Or something like that, in case you didn't know that. Alright. Big gulps, huh? Well, see you later. Now, something that also is a good idea that I didn't do, because when at this time of day you decide to do this, is you forget to get your cream cheese out and let it get a little bit warm so it's easier to spread. So this will be a little bit of a advanced technique. Refrigerator temperatured bucket in the old recycling. Try to find a big strong spoon. Highly recommended. I keep this spoon on hand just for these occasions. See how thick that is? That is. You can get your. You can. That does not flex. There's no flex. That is. That's almost a 1/4 inch of steel right there. I do not know where this spoon came from, but it is the strongest spoon I've ever personally had in my possession, and that is for. We're going to mash with it. Let's get this open. Some people may not know the secrets of the cream cheese. as I get older and I travel through life, I learn that things that seem obvious to me are not always obvious to others. It actually says open at the top. And sometimes I just take it for granted that people, like, I don't know what the word is. Well, now my thumbs aren't going to work. I feel like on the journey of life, there's a lot of things that seem obvious, but it's only because someone has pointed out to you previously. I talked about this quite a bit on my channel, but like famously, when the whoever you want to call them, the conquistadors or whoever it was that floated over the ocean on a boat, came to the New Worlds, if you will. The people of the New Worlds couldn't see the boats because there was no such thing as a boat like that, so it was invisible to them. And it wasn't until the dude in charge, like the chief or whatever, was like, hey, look, there's a thing out there. They all like, oh, now we can see it. Now that seems like impossible, right? Like, there's no way. There's no way. But I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of stuff that is invisible until it's pointed out to you. Now, I don't know if there's just people that are better observing, and they can see it first and share the knowledge, but there's a lot of things that just do not get seen until someone points it out. And as soon as someone points it out, you never miss it. I think my favorite one is like, you ever looked at the logo for FedEx? Did you know there's an arrow in the logo for FedEx? Right there between the, what is that, where the X is? Makes an arrow in the actual logo. Now you've been looking at that logo your whole entire life and you may or may not have ever seen that arrow before. Most likely if you've seen it, someone pointed it out to you. Otherwise it's invisible. You cannot see it. Alright, so first layer in. Next layer, I go with the Hormel chili no beans. The no beans thing, I mean, you could do beans if you want to, but like, it doesn't really jive super great with the... I mean, actually, yeah, you could if you want. I just don't do it. I don't know if that was the way I was taught how to make this. This is the hard part. How in the hell do you get the chili out of the can? It doesn't want to come out without a battle. There's always a battle involved. Well, here's another thing. Not everyone's had chili before. Like, how about that for a mind exploder? And this may seem weird and look odd. Basically what chili is a meat-based, heavy, like a stew, if you will. With ground pepper, hot pepper spice, like chili powder. It's really good when it's cold out. Something I didn't realize also growing up, that like I grew up in the Midwest, and it was very popular in the Midwest when I was a kid to have the cafeteria during lunch serve on certain days of the week chili and cinnamon rolls. And I never really thought about that. Just my whole life, it was like, yeah, chili and cinnamon rolls. Like duck and water, you know, it just goes hand in hand. Peanut butter and jelly, same thing. I did not realize until I was like a full-ass grown adult that that is not necessarily a common pairing in North America, i.e. the United States also. So I looked into it, and it turns out that comes from a food vendor who did cafeterias in the Midwest. That was like a menu item they came up with, so like a lot of people were raised on that. Which is pretty wild, actually. And if you're not from the Midwest, I think it was like Colorado, Nebraska, maybe South Dakota, up into Minnesota, pushing across maybe a little Illinois, like that part of the Midwest. That's where the vendor that did the cafeteria. So here's the next thing. I watched a video of a young person trying to use a can opener the other day, and it was like, I never had so little hope for humanity in my entire life. Now this is a safety can opener. It's not supposed to have any sharp edges, if you will, which, you know, back when I was growing up, you got sharp edges, and sometimes the can opener cut you. That's the next layer, just right on top. I mean, whatever. Spread it around, try to make an even coat. If you can't make an even coat, do the best you can. I know not everyone's into making it perfect. Now this is the part next. A lot of it depends on how you want your cheese intake and what that does to your bowels, because there's already a whole thing of cream cheese at the bottom that you sometimes forget about. And when you're gobbling this down, man, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I could eat this whole thing if I'm capable of eating this whole pan in one sitting. I never do, because your next day in the bathroom is gonna be, you'll be clogged. So you put the old cheese on there, and yes, this is not the correct cheese. That's fine. It'll all work out. Cheese is cheese. It's just going to be a little harder to eat. The amount is, I guess, up to your budget and your cheese appreciation. As much cheese as you can appreciate, go ahead and do that. I appreciate approximately that much cheese. Next, I like to do a complete even layer of olives. Just one coat, at least minimum. Once they're one coat minimum, then I'll come back and double whammy jam it. The idea being is when you spoon into this, you want to get some olives in there. You spoon all the way to the bottom. The first couple of spoons never go quite the same as the subsequents. I mean, normally, normal's a relative term. If you're cooking this in the oven, you do it in like a casserole dish. I think this is the only like fairly good sized dish I have that fits in the toaster oven. I suppose I could have cooked this in the wood stove. I did have the wood stove going, but I don't think that part of the house is camera ready. I was trying to think, what do I say for cooking times? I have no idea. I just turn the thing on until like I can't wait any longer, and then I eat it. And then it goes into the refrigerator, and then I try to wait at least a day to have more, and sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Now at this point, you can either do no onions or put the onions on. I mean, I'm kind of torn on that one. I kind of like the fresh onions. But it's also, you warm it up in the oven, it comes out, you put the onions on, you're going to have to rewarm it anyway, so I just do it all. And I know that's a lot of onion, and some people might be freaking out right now. Oh, so much onions! Trust me, when you're eating it, it isn't going to be like a whole bunch of onions. I mean, we're like 2 or 3 inches deep here. I did make a fatal mistake, and I got my whites and my greens all on opposite sides of the map there. How do we do? Launching! Oh man. Make sure not to melt your scissors. I'm gonna go conventional bake, I don't know, 350-ish. Got it set to like, I don't know, 30 minutes, but it ain't gonna take that long. You go, no, it'll start bubbling. It'll just bubble. It'll just bubble away. Now, how do you eat this? You're going to want a big spoon, like this, to scoop it out with. Finger for comparison. Scoop on a plate. And I usually do either corn chips or like a wavy chip. Today we'll be doing some Clancy's wavies. I mean, honestly, you can just eat it with a spoon, too. That wouldn't be out of the realm of possibilities of things that would be deemed acceptable. Is that the greatest live stream ever? Apparently, there's 3 people watching this. That's kind of blowing my mind. All right. Well, let's see what I can do here. the old tripod's a little not quite adjusted right. Shmirkin blurkin. Alright, there it is. Make sure I'm just filming all the stuff that I don't want filmed in life. That's about as low as it goes. I will be having this for Super Bowl, but I'm having it tonight too. Yeah. You looking at my cabinets, you weirdos? Alright, there you go. I guess that's 6-layer dip. I think I counted them all up. Last time I made it, I forgot one of the layers and it still tasted fine. It was the chilies layer. Probably the least important of the layers. I was looking at my pantry, I thought maybe I could add like a can of like diced tomatoes to it. That might be okay. I don't know. I've never tried it, but I think my mom used to make this dip when I was a kid every once in a while, and it was just like, I always thought it was just amazing. I don't know what it is. It is 10 out of 10, no doubt. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to stream this for another whatever. You're not going to watch me eat it. But yeah, the toaster oven in full effect. The Super Bowl, jeez. I used to get into the Super Bowl. I'm not even sure if I'm going to watch it this year. I have no idea who's even in it. Peace! Make that dip. It's good.